આગળની સવારી કેટલી થઈ ગઈ. પૂરાઈ ગયા આપણે કોઈ
Crashes off of aircraft on takeoff are absolutely rare. And if you look at the number of aircraft that leave every single day, this is an exceptionally traumatic situation. There can be many causes. It can be a pilot error of the airline itself. It can be the actual aircraft that has a problem. It could be environmental. It could be a situation in terms of winds. It could be ultimately a situation where there might be some visibility issues. So there are many issues that could be at play, and it could be a combination of them, quite honestly. And this is why in these immediate hours, the investigation is vital. We look firstly, naturally, at the runway. What was the course of action of the aircraft? Were there any obstructions on the runway? Were there any environmental conditions? You then look at the aircraft as well in terms of what was the position of the landing gear and the takeoff gear? What was the position of the flaps? Were there any issues in terms of the normal protocols for departure? You then as well look at the air traffic recordings in terms of the flight movement. You look at the recordings that were taking place in the cockpit. You look into all of these elements, and as well, naturally, you look at the scene where the actual incident took place. We know it was a medical hostel. We know that there are people involved. We know it was a community that ultimately was struck. The entire scene of the investigation needs to be looked at very carefully. We also know that this was an aircraft that was, as we've said, was on its way into the air, not coming back in. So it was leaving with a full capacity of fuel. So we're looking at about 130 tons of fuel that were on the aircraft. That caused a massive explosion. And as a result, the damage on the scene will be intense. That's going to be very difficult to work through. When a plane takes off, there are multiple technical elements taking place at the same time. The aircraft is a finely tuned piece of engineering and art, in my point of view. But when it's taking off, the amount of force that's being put into the air and all of the operations of the aircraft need to be working absolutely perfectly. And ultimately, it's the pilots that are managing that along with air traffic control and working around an environment that is going to be as clean and clear as possible, both in terms of the runway and the environmental conditions. So all of these together are an incredible operating system. And that's why the investigation needs to look at all of these elements individually, but also collectively. Did one impact the other that then caused an incident of this nature? The 787 has never had an incident like this. And so it is very important to understand, again, exactly what happened and why, and what was the role of the aircraft. But this is where the leadership of both the manufacturer and the airline are vital. Our lives need aviation. And that's why when we look at one incident that is happening, if we look at over 100,000 flights a day, I believe, that take off, this is exceptionally unique. It's exceptionally sad. It's tragic, and it's an exceptional opportunity for us all to focus on how do we make sure this never happens again. But right now, when we look at it in the entire ecosystem, as much as aviation inspires unbelievable awe, it creates enormous fear, but that fear needs to be put in context. And right now, we need to focus on the facts, focus on the compassion and support of all involved, so we can and make sure that in the future we eliminate a situation like this that stunts our ability to be able to fly with confidence.
દેના મેસેજ બાદ ગણતરીના સેકન્ડોમાં જ પ્લેન ક્રેશ થઈ ગયું. कपड़े की दिशा देना कहाँ है? ये रहे ना देख कपड़े ये जल्दी कर. अजय हाँ बोलो. एक मिनट ये दिख रही कॉर्नर पे ये यहाँ से सीधा देख उंगली मेरी. हाँ हाँ दिख रही बड़ी.
I want to brief you on a serious incident that involved an Air India aircraft a short while ago. But first, and most importantly, I would like to express our deep sorrow about this event. This is a difficult day for all of us at Air India, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, their families, and loved ones. I know that there are many questions, and at this stage, I will not be able to answer all of them, but I do want to share the information we have at this time. Air India flight AI 171, operated with a Boeing 787-8 aircraft, traveling from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick, has been involved in an accident after takeoff. Flight AI 171 was carrying 230 passengers and 12 crew members on board. Of the passengers, 169 are Indian nationals, 53 are British nationals, there are 7 Portuguese nationals, and 1 Canadian national. The injured passengers have been taken by local authorities to the nearest hospitals. We are actively working with the authorities on all emergency response efforts. A special team of caregivers from Air India is on their way to Ahmedabad to provide additional support. The investigations will take time, but anything we can do now, we are doing. We know that many people are concerned for the welfare of their loved ones. We have set up a special helpline that friends and family can reach us at. The number is 1-800-5691-444. That is 1-800-5691-444. We understand that people are eager for information. And please know that we will continue to share accurate and timely information as soon as we can. But anything we report must be accurate and not speculative. We owe that to everyone involved. For now, our teams are working around the clock to support passengers, crew, and their families, as well as investigators, however we can.
सिटीजन हो, गलत काम मत करो, किसी का घर का है, ठीक है, मत करो। ठंडा करने में तो सब काम हो जाएगा, वो आगे ठंडा हो जाएगा तो पूरी निकल जाएगी। रुकिए, मैं करता हूँ, आपको फ़ोन करता हूँ। हाँ बस बस वही है मेरे पास अभी। दूसरा धर्मेश जी है, धर्मेश जी को फ़ोन कर दीजिए एक बार। आप अच्छे सिटीजन हो, गलत काम मत करो।